Right then, oh dear. Right then, everybody. I never knew there was a golf range there. What the fuck? Okay. Hello, right, so a bit of an addition onto the video that I've just made about installing the Healtech. I'm actually trying the bike out to see if there's any difference, because I've got the pipe coming tomorrow, I think. Well, I've been told that, and basically I just wanted to test it out before I go putting the pipe on, really, just to see if there are any differences. And say, for example, if you couldn't afford an exhaust, or you weren't looking to change the exhaust, to see if this would make any sort of meaning or feasible alterations to the bike in its stock form. Oh, that was a big pothole. And this bike, namely, the only real particular issues, I say issues, they're not really issues, they're just things to highlight, really. Just like any bike these days with Euro 5 emissions, the bottom end is very, very hampered, and so the servo motors, sort of due to emissions regs, can hamper the low end performance of a bike. Now, the areas where this particular bike struggle are in the slow control, so really slow, low RPM traffic movement stuff. You know, the fueling down low was pretty bad for stop-start traffic, which made it very difficult for, well, clutch-wise anyway, it can make it a little bit difficult just to keep everything under control. Bit of wrist cramp and, you know, and but this is, you know, the slower speed stuff was where it kind of struggled at lower RPMs. I've let the O2 and closed loop system kind of adjust to the fact that the valve's open. Now, we're not going to expect a massive difference in horsepower. It's not what this is for, to be honest with you. It feels a little smoother, actually. There doesn't seem to be the intrusion that you would get usually when you're around 5,000 RPM where I am at now. It's fairly smooth, and I'm not getting that kind of judder that I was getting, where the valve would just all of a sudden open. Shit on the road here. I'm not really getting that, and it does feel a lot smoother. And I don't know if you can hear that actually, but it actually, you know, giving it some revs, it does sound a fair bit different actually. You can actually hear the sound from the exhaust now. Yeah, that's a major difference. I don't know where I'm going. And then that there, I'm not sure if you saw that, but the roll on. So say if I'm in first gear, like this. Oh man, yeah. So if I was in first or second gear or lower gears, and you went around a corner and you were gentle, you came off the throttle, you brake, come off the throttle like now, braking, come off the throttle, second gear, I'll do it in seconds because the revs will be lower, and you come around, then you put the power back on. Yeah, so there used to be a bit of a clack as the valve opened, the fuel, oh good god, these roads are shocking. Yeah, it definitely sounds a lot better as well, fucking hell. Yeah, that's a lot different, the sound. Yeah, as the servo valve would open, you'd get this like cracking kind of feeling as the valve opened. Once I get wheelie here. Yeah, as the valve opened, you'd get this weird change in fueling as the clacking feeling, and it was a jerk. It was quite jerky because I assume the change in fueling at that point, you know. A beautiful night. It's a really nice sunset, that. And going around the corners and doing that, it would kind of unsettle the bike as you went back on the power. You know, it would it kind of unsettle things because you could feel this like clack as it went through that little bit of the rev range from sort of 3,000 to 5,500. Anywhere between there, you kind of get this clack. But that is, even doing it's gone, and it sounds a bit. Maybe it's a placebo, but it feels like it's got a little bit more power down low. God, these potholes around here are absolutely fucking awful. Gee whiz. But it was the slow speed manoeuvre stuff that was the worst, because it just felt very, I would say uncontrollable, but it was a bit off-putting having that sort of feeling coming through the bike in general, really. And then from 5,000, there's a bit of a flat spot where that was kind of masked through the ECU, maybe through the throttle mapping. A little tiny bit of a flat spot, but nothing. It feels just a lot smoother in general, just because of the. Oh my god! Like I said, more angry, raspier. Oh, these roads. But yeah, just going back down into that band of the RPMs in second gear, you don't really feel that clacking anymore. And this has been apparent. I've done this on a few different bikes, and it fixed the speed triple as well. There we go. Yeah, it fixed that sort of transition from, you know, rolling on the throttle at low RPM to the valve opening to then the fueling changing, and then it's just off-putting in the corner when you go to open up the throttle and you just get this kind of jerk and this weird feeling. But it's gone. Happy to say, and that's just from, you know, removing the servo motor. It was not that big of a job. Definitely sounds a bit meaner, a bit more open. And one of the things that I noticed when I was stood next to the bike when it was on is you could smell a lot more petrol being burnt. Like you can smell the exhaust gases more. Obviously now there's a hole in it, you know. Well, that kind of makes sense, really, doesn't it? And the other thing is the quick shifter at low RPMs. When you shift around, like I said, sort of 3,500 to 5,500. There was this definite kind of hesitancy, or if you weren't in the right, you know, exact spot for fueling, the quick shifter could be a little bit jerky. Now, if you got past that 5,000 RPM, it's absolutely buttery smooth. But within that sort of, you know, first few thousand RPM range, it could be a little bit temperamental. Again, what we're going to do now is apparently I'm heading to Frodsham. I didn't realise where it was, but I'm going to have a tinker around in a sort of village setting. Like I said, slow speed with clutch out in first gear. It didn't like it at all. It really didn't like it. So we'll see how that is, if that's changed. I doubt it, because that's mainly going to be a mapping and fueling issue, that, to be honest with you. But you never know. I've just gone over some glass. Please do not have a fucking puncture. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to take this thing out just to see what the differences were. So I'm in that band now. I'm at 3,800 res or something, and if I put it up into from fourth gear to fifth, it's really nice. It works as expected. Nice little click. Again, sixth gear. Oh fuck hell. No, sixth gear. Into sixth gear, no problems at all. Whereas before you kind of had this weird little kind of jerk where the bike would kind of hesitate. Again, I'm assuming that's because the system was a bit more sort of freer flowing, and the fueling and the O2 and the closed loop system had to basically catch up with that, or just a more immediate sort of presence of issue of back pressure maybe. All of a sudden you've got an open pipe from it being restricted and closed, you know, I can do things to fueling. So my knee is absolutely killing me. Got kicked by a horse the other day. Right, my fucking knee, my bad knee as well. Again, just going up the gears, sixth gear, 40 mile an hour, like, went through all the gears then, and that was absolutely fine. It definitely feels like it's got a little bit more urgency to it down low. It's not much. Like it's not like having your bike remapped or anything. Don't get me wrong, but there's definitely something that's changed. I mean, I'll take that. Like I said, the main issue with this bike was the fact that was the coming out of corners and the quick shifter, and the coming out of corners thing seems to have righted itself. Oh, train! Hello, train. So we're going to test this now in a more urban environment. Let me see you get into second gear. Oh, that was very smooth into third gear. Very smooth again, fourth gear. Very smooth, fifth gear. Very smooth, sixth gear. Very smooth. Okay, well, I think that's the gearbox fixed. Now, I do know there was no issues with the gearbox. It was a joke. Don't take that seriously. Right, here we go. So we're going off the power and then back on the power, and there's no clacking. Yeah, there's no clacking or anything. It's just smooth through the power. There is, like I said, it feels like there's a slight dip in power where that sort of 5,000 is, 4 to 5,000. This feels like there's a little bit of a dip as it goes through that. Again, not sure if that was part of the bike's sort of setup for emissions. I'm assuming it is. Oh, fucking hell, the potholes around here are disgusting. It always kind of baffles me, you know, how much these Healtechs actually change things. But now I've had this bike for, you know, a good few months, you know, and I've gotten used to it. I know the characteristics and all that, you know, and how it rides. I mean, gonna go to 5th gear, not a problem at all. And there are little niggles with, well, like I said, with the fueling and the way things are set up, which is why I was looking at getting a remap, because the fueling down low can be very, very. I personally think it's dangerous. Just how choppy and on and off the throttle was, and going through that sort of, like I said, rev range at the lower end of where the servo would open up or start to open up. The difference in fuel in there, it shook the bike up, quite honestly. I'm actually kind of happy with that. So if I'm in 5th gear 40 mile an hour, it would usually chug quite a lot. You could feel the motor opening, I think, is the thing here. And like I said, with the fueling change and that, seems to have gone. Like, and if it has gone, then I'm very happy. Because it's not, you know, we're not talking, you know, 20 horsepower performance mods here. That's not what this is. But the little things in the bikes are the things that tend to be the most annoying half the time. Now, the fact that the quick shifter is now buttery smooth through the lower ends of the RPM, through any gear, look, 6th gear, just whacked it up to 2 gears at 2000 RPM, doesn't mind. Whacking it down, bang, bang, doesn't mind. That for me is worth its weight in gold already. And then the fact that when I'm coming back onto the power, whilst, you know, you brake, you know, throttle off, brake into your corner, trail braking, and then put the power back on, there would be this sort of unsettling kick from the power delivery where the servo motor would be opening up, and then obviously the fueling, so the O2 and closed loop system would then basically, you know, not know what to do, in essence. And it takes the system that little while just to work out what it's doing, and then all of a sudden you've got, you know, the valve open. Now they sit and tell you that this is for back pressure for extra torque, and it's absolute bollocks. Don't believe them. It's for emissions. That's all it's there for. It's not there to create more back pressure or increase torque or anything like that. That's just nonsense, to be honest with you. 30 mile an hour, 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, there's no bother there. 6th gear, nothing. You know, hands off. But I think this is worth its weight already. Look, I mean, shit. You know, the majority of its issues have just fucking gone. Thank you, sir. Don't know where I'm going. I recognise this place. I think I got lost here once. There you go. Slow speed manoeuvre and stuff. Again, there's no crack. There's no crack as you go on the power. Look at this here. Look again. There's just not. That again is worth its weight in gold. Miles better. Get off the throttle and then power on. It's just, yeah, the power's just smooth. Well, for this map at least, the power's smooth, you know. Oh, Jesus. Oh, got stuck my indicator on, bloody hell. Oh, here's a test. Fucking hell, that's a big hill. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, man. That really fucking put me off. It's less sketchy. There's no off-putting jerkiness. I want to find out where this, is it here? I think it is here, actually. Don't know what this place is. I've always seen it before, but I've never actually... Hellsby Quarry. Nice. I'll have to have a walk around at some point. Braking into the corner. Power straight on. No issues at all. Yeah, again, like I said, that's worth its weight for me. That improvement alone is massive for me. I mean, look at that. I can take my hand off. Not that that proves much, but the stability, I mean, beforehand, if I were to have done that, it would have been, you know, quite jerky. It would be quite choppy on and off as that motor opened up. You know, I haven't had one bad quick shift whilst using this yet. Whereas beforehand, you've seen what it's like from some of the videos. It was either going into like a sort of false neutral or didn't seem to actuate properly. So there you go. There's been your sort of test of the Healtech. Has it made a difference? Yes, it's made a difference. It's definitely made more of a difference as I've gone on. At first, it's not really too noticeable. But then as I've kind of, you know, as you kind of realise these little things, it definitely I mean, even just going like there, like the majority of sort of cruising speed and traffic maneuverability, we've got some dickhead here who wants to fucking race. Fucking idiot. There's a speed camera up there, so hopefully it fucking gets him. Silly twat. Oh, he's just gone straight through the speed camera, he must not give a fuck. Maybe he's got an emergency, you never know, eh? Jesus wept. 4 old dickheads in a car, what do you get? This lot. Please fucking hurry up, fuck off. Please don't turn right like I'm gonna. Oh, fuck's sake. Look at that. You don't even feel it going into gear. Oh, that's so much nicer. So much nicer. Right boys, well, hopefully that's given you a good idea as to the changes that you get when you install a Healtech. Hopefully this has been informative, hopefully it's helped you make a decision. Definitely worth it in my opinion. Oh, make sure you get to know the... you know what? Fuck these fucking horrible fucking potholes. Manhole covers and shit, everything's sinking because of the heat. At least it's grippy though, I guess. Make sure you get to know your bike for a few months beforehand so you can really get to know the benefits and feel the changes, because it is, like I said, it's a subtle change in areas, but they just make the bike just that much easier to live with, that much easier to ride, that much safer. So yeah, that's been me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon, I'm sure, and until the next time, boys and girls, sort 'em out. See you soon, goodbye.